And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as you know every day. And I'm with my buddy and pal, Mr. Chris Edwards. We are here to join you today. Lots of news. Chris, say hello, all that good stuff.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday and welcome to the news dump.
The news dump.
There's
And
a huge dump today.
if you have not heard, Don Lemon, journalist, I like to always say when we're doing this, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in California
Mhm.
on federal charges, and which we expect to be dropped. But there, if you also on his platform, they're talking and sharing as well. We may
Yeah.
also patch into some of those things that are happening. But this is again straight from the Project 2025 playbook. They were
Yep.
going to go after journalists. They said it. As Clay, or I forgot Clay's last name, mentioned about, he says this was pulled straight from Project 2025.
Yes.
And so,
Also, can we make
mhm,
note that Don and three other people, another journalist was arrested. Georgia Fort was also arrested,
Georgia
and two
Fort,
other
yes.
protesters. Yeah.
So Georgia Fort was also a Black journalist as well. So
Correct.
it's interesting and ironic that this is a onslaught on Black people. And for folks out there that don't get it, the people, I'm trying to restrain from name calling, but the people that are out there that don't believe this is happening, and like I heard, Reese, I think it was Reese or Clay. No, it was Clay. I think said that when you have someone like that purple head Minaj person going out
Pink.
and said they should go pink, right? Pink, and said they should go after Dawn. They should arrest Dawn. There was quoted allegedly that she said that, and
Did.
it's just where we are today. We are in a very dangerous time. This is fascism on steroids. And we always like to, I always like to bring back to the point and bring us back in. If those that don't know history, people say this is the way the Nazis operated. But people forget that the Nazis came to America to learn their tactics.
Yep.
They went to the Southern South, studied Jim Crow, studied the policies, studied the racism, the bigotry. They studied it all, and then they incorporated it and created. So Nazism, when you talk about Nazism, you have to always remember its roots is from America, Jim Crow America, and so we're going to cover it's a lot of things to cover. All this is, I believe, and Chris and I talked about it, is all about distractions.
Yep.
He realized he's losing in Minnesota, and even contradicting the new person that he put in charge, and he realizes that he is losing. And so also, and we were saying, Chris and I were saying, him and his wife's horrible movie sales. So all these are distractions, again, one, away from Epstein.
Yep.
Two, that his numbers are horrible. People are leaving him. Spanish people are moving from him in droves. People that thought they were going to support this regime are now leaving. So this is not just a John Lemon story, but as we said, this is Georgia Fort, and
Georgia
she's a
Fort. Yeah.
journalist as well. And so this is a fight for democracy. If people don't get it, I said this years ago. Now I can say years ago, because when we were in this craziness with this cankles, I remember saying right after election day, is no longer about the Democrats or the Republicans. It's about those that are for democracy, and is about the resistance. Is about the resistance against those who are anti-constitution and who want to live in a different society in which we all have contribute to live a better life among all of us living together.
Absolutely.
I mentioned this a year and a half ago,
Yep.
because we knew immediately, this community knew immediately that this was going to be about the resistance. The resistance. And so,
Good morning.
in her bathrobes, you know this is serious. What's up, Gwendolyn?
I was actually, it's Friday, and so I was prepping for my January headshot or like image. So I am clothed. I mean, there's clothes on. I gotta get my makeup done. So I'm in the bathrobe. Yes.
Well, welcome. So again, if you haven't heard, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in California, and but also we who are myself, I am a Lemonhead. I am part of the Lemonhead community, and Don mentioned this last week. He says even though the judges that they went for and said no, we're dismissing this. This has no roots.
There's no case.
It has no face. We can't. We can't arrest this man for these charges, which is bogus. But he said, and we all knew that Trump and the MAGA is all to get MAGA riled up. This is all like food for the maggots that they would go out and do this. And I know as soon as we start talking about this, the trolls and their big heads and their crazy, stupidity will roll into the crowd.
Well, can I add to that? Since you mentioned trolls, and yes, there will be some bots, but there are also a number of American citizens who just refuse to believe what is happening in their eyes. There are still people who are like, I can't believe it's like this has always been. America's history is not the prettiest, right? It is awful, absolutely awful. But there are still some of us who are like, I just can't believe it's happening. It's like at some point, you have to come to terms with what is happening and recognize just how bad it is. And I know you and I spoke this morning, and I saw a quick video of Jennifer Lawrence sharing how she's moved back from talking about this regime and using her platform to inspire people because she just feels like, oh, nothing's changed, and I just want to make art. See, that's called privilege. Because if you want something, you're gonna have to fight for it.
Yes.
And it's not gonna be pretty. It is not gonna happen overnight. And when it gets hard, you just can't say, I'm just gonna go back to making art because I just want to make art. And no, that's called protecting your wallet. Because you currently have the privilege to do so. Trust, they're coming for you too. They're coming for you.
They come for all of us. At the end of the day, this is about all of us. But again, if you just took yesterday's clips, or I should say this morning and yesterday, because what the news is talking about, everything is related to Black people. Every single thing is related to Black people in this country. Fulton County, Black people, right? So we got Don Lemon, one of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable Black journalists, not in America, in the world. This is an assault. And then, like we mentioned, I don't know if we said it online, but Chris and I were talking about to use the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan Act against a Black journalist.
Against Black journalists, yeah.
Yes. Against Black journalists, because there's two.
Ron, before we go any further, let's say good morning to some people. Before we go any further,
we didn't say good morning, right? We jumped in.
Yeah, no. Let's say good morning to some people.
Yes. We have first person with the gold is our wonderful Chris R. She says good morning. We also have look who's in the silver today.
Actually, no. Hold on. So Ron, I'm gonna correct you. So on my end, the first person in the room was Omar at 10:54.
Wow. See, again, you see how these pages, we talked about this yesterday, the vertical and the landscape and things don't get seen on both of our screens.
Yeah, Omar's first.
Yes. Okay, so Omar is there. And then we have, I just have
And then Chris
Omar's
comes in.
reaction, but I don't have
Yeah.
Omar's good morning.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, and who else is in the building? Let's get some more good mornings in. We got our Bryson with our morning news. Well, he says, Ron, what's up? What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? Happy New Music Fridays. Welcome to the weekend. And everybody heard that Don Lemon was arrested, which is what we're talking about today. And I thank you, Bryce, on Clay Kane. That's what I was talking about with the quote earlier. And Kelly A's in the building. What's going on, Kelly A? I see you in the building. I see you. I see you. And Jazzy says, good morning, beautiful people. Kimmy says, good morning. And we got all the good mornings in. We got all the good mornings. Charlene says, good morning, everyone. And Anthony is in the building. Anthony Roland Photography is in the building. So we get all the good mornings in, all the good mornings. And let's see here. Okay. There, I got them all. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I mean, like I said, we've been full between last night and this morning. I'm just going to kind of give you a rundown of some of the things we'll probably talk about today, in addition to the Don Lemon arrest. So the House Republicans unveiled the election reform bill dubbed "Make Elections Great Again" Act. So that's one of the things that they released yesterday. Another thing is Trump announced the new Fed chair. His name, he goes by Kevin Walsh. So that's something to look out for, because Powell, his term ends in May, so they're looking to replace him. And then lastly, we talked about this briefly yesterday, but of course, FBI raids Georgia elections office as Trump administration seeks voter data from states. Now, this is him, of course, now wanting to revisit the 2020 election yet again. When will this man let it go? He's like a dog with a bone. Let it go. You fucking lost. You barely won this one. Just let it go.
But again, that is also, speaking from my mom's point of view. I have someone that I've been working, my mom has dementia. That is the mindset that has some form of dementia.
Absolutely.
They can't let go. It will keep spinning in their heads, and you can't get it out. I mentioned many times, my mom at one point, she kept saying the same thing over and over. I said, Mom.
Yep. That was my grandmother as well.
Everything is open. Everything is free. We can go out into the streets. No. The government shut down, blah, 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 blah. And I would go and I had to kind of like paint the picture to help her come back, kind of like give it from another angle so she can see the reality. But even to this day, that was, years ago. I mean, COVID was years ago now, but she still thinks COVID is out there and everyone's shut down. The city shut down. The banking's not shut. That is definitely some of the signs that people have been saying about the dementia. So, Elise, do you have anything to say, Elise?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a lot to say.
I know you got something to say.
You can hear all of the New York noises outside.
We don't hear it though. We don't hear it.
Good. So, what I have to say is a couple of things. So it's Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. Georgia Fort was arrested at her home.
Yes.
And I think she lives in Minnesota. So she was also arrested because for the same reason, being a journalist at the church. And so when you talk about all the things that are happening simultaneously, it is all, as I said before, to exhaust people. But you have to think about the point of what the Republicans just did about the voting. We have to stay focused on that. Georgia, what happened in Georgia is not as simple as some people may believe. Yes. So when they took all their original documents, which included voter rolls. They took their originals, they didn't get copies. And you also remember they were trying to get the voter rolls in Minnesota because those are blue places. And so who knows, since they took their original documentation, we have to understand this is all about what happens with elections.
Yes.
It's not so simple in elections specifically in areas that.
Did she freeze?
We lost her.
I think we did.
We lost her. Okay. I see here. I see who are also. Let me see if we can bring her back, bring her out, and then bring her back in when she's Got her screen back together. Okay, so Fifi says he wants to use it to make a case for a third term. We believe in the Cankles. Jazzy says what happened to Georgia is about setting their shelves up for the midterm elections in the next presidential election, if we have one, which I believe that we may not have one. Yes. So, what do you guys think? Chris, I know what topic you want to hit. You want to we'll continue with the Don. Let's
pull up the Georgia Fort video that I sent you. It's in the private chat. So she recorded herself prior to surrendering to federal officers outside of her house late last night.
Okay, let me see here.
So I pulled it from Sarah Reidner's page on Instagram.
It's not in the chat, sir. It's not in our chat.
You don't see it?
No.
All right, hold on. You might not see it because I did it before we came on. Give me one second. Let me copy it again.
And while he's doing that, Gwendolyn, you have anything?
Yeah, this is it's only going to get worse, right? So yes. I know we keep saying exactly at what point are you going to realize that you have to do something? I am not saying to put yourself in the street. That's your choice. There are other things you can do to be active. Not using your voice is not an option. That's not an option to just say, you know what? I give in. That's not the way to go, in my opinion. If anything, it should make it clear that what was is no longer. We're in a whole new quarter at this point. More things are going to get out of pocket. They're going to do things to, as Miss Ali's mentioned, to exhaust you both emotionally and physically. That should just want to make you get out there more to do what you can do in your community to make sure that change keeps happening and in the right direction. Because this ship is sinking, but it's not done yet.
And we also right now we have our professional journalist in the building, Miss Dr. Tachi. How you doing, Dr. Tachi?
Yeah.
And I mean, you have worked in this profession for many years, gone to school. Share, you teach it, and all. How are you feeling this morning as a journalist, as a professor who talks and speaks and teaches in this profession, and who has had the opportunity to work with so many professional journalists in the in media? How are you feeling this morning on this subject?
Well, first I had to go and make sure that this was actually the case. I was like, what? And I had to go through a couple of sources to verify that this was actually the case and that he had actually been arrested. And this just shows the level of fear that they have, because now at this point, what happens is, and this is all in the playbook, right? So you go after the mainstream journalist or mainstream media, and you beat them into submission. And you see what has happened with all of that. Either beat them into submission, or then subsequent people that are friendly to this way of thinking, Gestapo friendly, they will then buy these networks, right? And so they can have whatever they want said about all of this. So then, of course, now you've got the independent media, which has been on the rise. This has been my prediction for a long time, that independent media were going to rise. And that's because of the lack of truth and lack of voice that exists in mainstream media. And now you have, this is the perfect storm, because you have people or journalists that have come from supposed mainstream media and have now brought their skills, their journalistic skills, to independent media. And so that's scary for them, because the truth can still get out. But as was being said, these are all tactics to scare people into submission. But what they don't realize is, remember what they said, and they've always said this, like, you can take out one terrorist group, right? And but there'll be 100 more, thousands more behind them.
Yes.
Okay, you've got Don Lemon. Do you know how many other independent journalists have existed before he even got to be independent.
Yes.
Okay, before Joy Reid even got to be independent, while they were all on CNN and MSNBC, which is now MS Now, and no disrespect, but independent journalism and independent voices have been here. So, okay, you took one, you took two, you took 10. You know how many thousands are behind them? There are more of us than there are of you. So you are running a losing game if your attempt is going to be, well, we'll just arrest everybody. Oh, my dear. how do you think that's going to work? So there also appears to be no plan for this. So I'm watching and waiting to see what's going to happen, because this is not just cause at all. There is they use that as an excuse to get him. That was simply an excuse. They were looking for anything. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Chris, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. There's breaking news. The Justice Department is giving their conference. Was supposed to start at 11 o'clock. They're just now starting. So I'm just listening on the side to see if they mention the arrest of Don Lemon and the 3 other journalists. So I'll continue to listen, but I'm going to pay attention to this as well.
We could tune in if you want. We could if you want to tune in.
Well, they're not really saying anything much yet.
Nothing
they're
yet.
talking about other things. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So,
Sorry,
go ahead, Dr. Tachi. Go ahead.
No worries. So as for how I'm feeling, the unfortunate thing is this is not surprising. I am not surprised at all. This is the way, if you look at other regimes and what they've done press-wise, this exactly mirrors in the suppression of the press, because you don't want the truth out there. And my thing is like, do you see how hard you have to work to suppress the truth? This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to suppress the truth. And the thing is, when you suppress, there are more people behind still willing to put the truth out there. So it's it's sad, but it's not surprising.
Yeah, it's again the audacity, and we've seen this also with the whole point of reversing a lot of the civil rights legislation and laws and regulations by using civil rights laws against the civil rights of the people that it was designed to protect. So this is another one of those. But again, to use the KKK Act to go against Don Lemon, who's a Black journalist, and the other journalists, except for one, is just the audacity. We hear you.
I put the link back into the private chat so you can play the Georgia
there we go. Thank you, buddy.
surrender.
Here we go. It's just not.
And they pulled away from that press conference because they weren't really saying anything. So if they do break back, and I'll let you guys know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's this whole thing is really interesting. And let me say this also, that I love the age that we live in now in terms of what we're able to say, because in addition to independent journalists, the mainstream journalists, you all are lost. I'm not even looking to you for any information because I can't trust you because you work for them. So I don't care who you are. Whatever you say is not going to be enough because you temper what you say because you work for a certain organization. But the cool thing is that we also have citizen journalists. And the reason we were able to see what has been happening in Minnesota, what has been happening in different places, is because of citizen journalists. And that even means people picking up their phones and shooting what's happening. And again, you don't have to be a trained journalist to do that. However, I will say there is training for journalism. So just temper and be careful of what you watch. And I would also say, please be aware of how much of this you watch. This is not normal to see all of these things. I tried to the other day. I was trying to avoid seeing the unaliving of the our nurse friend the other day, and I made a mistake and I watched something too long and I saw it. That is traumatizing. I didn't want to see that. And I also don't want to be desensitized to those things. So be careful of how much of this you watch, because it's not good for your mental health. It is not good for your health overall. Watch to know what is going on. But in terms of watching these things replay over and over and over again, in addition to it not being good for your mental health, this just will inflame you. And you don't need that.
Yes.
So just be careful with how much of this you watch. Pay attention so you know what's going on, but don't inundate yourself with these things.
Yes. And it was also one of, I think it was Reese Colbert said this morning, he says, shame on the media, because this story should have been breaking story when they went after Don weeks ago after the Renee Good incident at the church, when they went after the journalist, which was Don Lemon, and she was saying the nerve of them to now get on the bandwagon today when they should have did something about this weeks ago, but now they want to be on the bandwagon on the breaking news because Don Lemon has been arrested, or so again, the main media cannot be trusted.
Yeah, so I want to say something about that. And actually, I just uploaded something to our media files. I'm going to put it on the screen real quick. CNN just released a message, and they put it on the screen on the Don Lemon show. Let me just put it up. I don't know if I can do it, Ron. You might have to do it. If you go into the media assets, it's the last image. It's an image file that I uploaded. See if you can get it on the screen, or I'll just read it if you can't get it up.
Okay.
This talks to what we were just talking about as far as mainstream media should have been putting this up, when it first happened. Now that he's arrested, you guys realize that none of you were safe. So now you have to speak out about it.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
No, I don't see it. You have to put it in our private chat. So for me to see
I don't think I can. So I'll just read it. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up again.
But yeah, they now they're running and scurrying. Everyone on the media this morning is scurrying around and saying, "Oh my gosh, Don Lemon was arrested. There's a breach of the First Amendment rights and journalism." And you also had a Hakeem also give a press conference in DC regarding
nothing
that to support.
Sorry,
absolutely nothing.
So this we're here because people don't speak up. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
All right, so this is from CNN. The FBI arrest our former CNN colleague Don Lemon raises profoundly concerning questions about press freedom and the First Amendment. The Department of Justice already failed twice to get an arrest warrant for Don and several other journalists in Minnesota, where Chief Judge of the Minnesota Federal District Court found that there was no evidence that was any criminal behavior involved in their work. The First Amendment in the United States protects journalists, who bear witness to news and events as they unfold, ensuring that they report freely in the public interest. And the DOJ's attempt to violate those rights is unacceptable. We will be following this case closely. I think this is like $1 late and $1 short.
Yeah.
In the words of Adrian, get out of here.
Exactly. And it's late. And you have, again, this happened weeks ago when they went after Don, but he said on his show, because I obviously look at all the shows and being part of the elimination, and he said they're gonna still come. He said I'm not afraid. You can come, bring it on. I haven't done anything wrong. I've done according to the law. I am a journalist. I was not a part of the protesters. But even if he was a part of the protest, he still has a constitutional right to protest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think like all of this is entirely too late. So please use my Southwest points to take the 4:15 flight to hell, because you all are entirely too late for all of it. It's too late. But you know why they're doing this now? Because see, it's First Amendment rights and constitutional rights and all of that. You don't have a business model if you don't have journalists and you can't say what you have to say. So just come off of it. Come off of it. This is also a monetary decision, right? It was a monetary decision not to say anything, but it's also a monetary decision now to say something to save the Fifth Estate what you
Yeah.
call yourselves as a fifth estate. Get out of here. Come on now. And it's just it's absolutely disgusting. And what I'm waiting for, and I understand this just happened, but I don't give a damn. You should be the first one to speak. Has the NABJ released a statement yet? Has the
Let's-
National
don't think so.
Association of Journalists released a statement yet?
Now I know
Have
the NAACP, they released a statement this morning.
Yes. The
Yeah.
NAACP, I was expecting that. But
Yes.
I'm looking for these journalist organizations. And I'm looking at you specifically, NABJ, because you were the one that let Cheeto Satan on stage during your
Yes.
the last conference you had in Chicago. Go ahead, Chris.
So
Did
the NABJ put up a post, but it was to promote that one of Aaron Haynes is, I think, is going to be on the Don Lemon show today, and their statement reads: "NABJ is outraged and deeply alarmed by the arrest of veteran journalist Don Lemon by federal agents in Los Angeles while he is working, and by government's escalating efforts and actions to criminalize and threaten press freedom under disguise of law enforcement. Tune in now to watch President Aaron Haynes on the Don Lemon show." Yeah, so they're basically just promoting that they're going to be on the Don Lemon show. This was 46 minutes ago.
Okay, because I hadn't looked to see, and I hadn't seen the statement. I'm like, come on,
Mhm.
NABJ. What? I'm looking at the National Association of Journalists too. Any journalistic organization should be opening their mouths right now
Yeah.
to
In
say
outrage.
something.
In outrage.
Exactly.
And
In
so let's go
outrage.
to that footage that we had set up for everyone to hear from Georgia Fort. Okay, here we go. This is Georgia Fort. And pressing play. Oops, where's the sound? Where is our sound? Oh, there it is up here. Thank you.
To alert the public that agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to my attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for
Oops, sorry about that.
filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press. We've seen all these violations. All right, you guys, I gotta go. They're knocking.
Yeah, she's coming right now.
Give me 1 second. All right, guys. You guys, I wanted to alert the.
Yeah, so man, I can't imagine the fear that must have been going through her, but not only her, but her kids, the family, and the journalism is the fourth branch of government. That's what journalism is. Gwendolyn?
Well, something that that Cass shared earlier, and she mentioned about not walking in fear. And I had this thought this morning during my meditation. I understand that we see all of this, and the first thing that we do is, some of us, the first thing that we do is to retreat. Now, I admit I am a fighter. I admit that. I have put a lot of stuff on the line with the idea that something greater is on the other side, right? So if you want something, anybody who is listening, be it today, tomorrow, whatever, you're going to have to sit with yourself and say, okay, how much am I willing to give up? Because you're going to have to give up something. At the end of the day, a lot of us are benefiting from some other people who have fought for what we are currently enjoying today. And there are a number of us who have never had to fight for anything. We just sit on the sideline and we enjoy these rights, these privileges. That time has come. Like, there's a knock at the door, clearly. And so you have to ask yourself, what is it that I am going to do? You have to ask yourself. You can't put your head into the sand, right? You can't be the ostrich to be like, no, it's not happening. It's happening. And it's happening everywhere. I mentioned just last week, we have ICE in Arlington, right? Now, you don't hear about Texas because our governor is very friendly with this administration. But that doesn't mean that we're not working here to make sure that people are prepared to vote come March. Like, we're still doing what we have to do. But operating in fear is not the way to go, because it leaves you in a place of not moving. And before I turn it back over, I think about Van Hunt and his song Character. Like, who are you in the times when there is a storm? We are in a storm. Okay, this is like that master something. All the things are happening. You got hurricanes, tornadoes, all things are happening. This is it. Whatever your character is, it is time to find that, because it's about time to show up.
Yeah, Elise says, as said before, we all have to understand that we are in the fire or the boiling pot together. We're in this together. Every American, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Asian, whatever, Native American, every one of us. This is about all of us. Democracy is being chiseled away day by day by day. Constitutional rights, day by day, every single day. It's an onslaught. I mean, just always, every day. And yes, we get tired and we can break away.
The other thing to remember is we've been here before. This is not the first time this is happening. People have not been studying their history, so they don't know this has happened before.
Yeah. And in addition to that, Chris, for some people, their constitutional rights are under attack, and there's an onslaught every day.
Yes.
So when you hear, for example, people of African descent say, okay, but this is our reality all the time, it's only a big deal now, and rightfully so it should be, because it's coming to others' front door.
Yes.
You didn't want to do anything about it when it wasn't you. But now you're forced to have to do something about it because it could easily be you.
Yeah. That is, whew, this is where we are. I mean, our show's not going to be long today. I just want you guys to, we did have we had a lot planned today to share, but I think we can just kind of like let this kind of like sit and how we can, how we can help. One is definitely, we still need to help our brothers and sisters, our American brothers and sisters, to learn that they have to vote. Voting, like you said, you guys have an election coming up in March.
Well, there's a lot of people who have their primaries in March, right? So just you want to check that. I know that Texas, the very last day to register to vote is February 2nd, I'm not mistaken. So there's that. But if I may,
yes,
but before, because we're almost, we have like another 15 minutes or so. It was Ronald's show that we talked about people's platforms and how some people who are, and I'm going to say celebrities in air quotes, because at the end of the day, these are regular people who have a job that's in the spotlight. And the conversation Saturday was some of them are being careful, right? Because they are trying to protect the wallet and protect themselves while still being a citizen. Your job is your job. At the end of the day, we are still citizens. So you either get to be the person who has the platform and is saying, look, I get that my life's in the spotlight, but what I am seeing is wrong. And you may be blackballed, you may lose some money, but you have to ask yourself what's more, because if you don't have any rights, well, then that money has no play. But more importantly, every single person listening has more power than the people who have these large platforms. You are in your community. You can talk to your neighbors, your sisters, your brothers. You can get out there and do your own voter, what do you call it? What's that word?
Sign up.
Registration. Thank you. Mm-hmm. We have far more power than what we believe, than what we recognize. This is that time to find it. If you don't want to do it by yourself, get with some other people. But please don't think that this is over. Game over. Everything's done. Thank you, Jazzy. Registration jobs. It's not done. People, as Ms. Ali said, they wouldn't work this hard if they weren't afraid. They know what they're doing is awful. And they had this real idea that they could just come in here, steamroll, and people would just be like, you know what, it's okay. It's not okay, people. You're going to have to get out there and fight for something. I know I've said it 1,000 times, but I think about the videos where you have people wearing their Sunday best, knowing they were about to be attacked by dogs and sprayed with fire hoses and beat with batons. They did it because, damn it, they believed in it. What you want is worth fighting for.
Listen, I always think, like, my friends and I, we have a joke whenever we see somebody with like those old school shoes that, oh, she got those civil rights shoes on. Yeah. The hard, but if they could march in civil rights shoes, knowing they were uncomfortable, you could at least, right? At the very least, do what she's saying. And I think here's another thing to add to all of this. And I say this every time I'm on or every time I'm anywhere, the onus also lies with us, right? And it's not just necessarily in social action in that type of way, but it's also economic action. Why are you still using platforms that are funding state-sponsored terrorism? Why? Because you're like, well, I still have it. Is blood money good for you? I don't care how much TikTok is paying you. I don't care how much. Find another way. There has to come a point where you're like, you know what? This is not worth it. I'm one of these people that have been on TikTok since the beginning, since it was Musical.ly. So I've had it since 2015. I was like, no problem, snip. I was on X since it was Twitter since the beginning. No problem, snip. So I'm an early adopter of a lot of these platforms, but none of them are worth my sanity and ability to sleep at night, because you do nothing for me anyway. You don't pay me. And the funny thing is, it's more so the people who aren't getting paid by all of these platforms who continue to use them, who are not making any affiliate money from these businesses that continue to patronize them. That's another form of protest. Don't fund people who are doing these things. And I know it is difficult because the ties are so deep, but do what you can. Nobody is excusing you. If you only have a Walmart in your area, nobody is trying to say, well, then don't eat. Nobody is saying that. But where you
when you can,
stop giving money, because you might as well write checks to them then if you're going to do that.
Yeah, and to follow up on what you just said, like, we really have to put our money where our mouth is. I just read, I think it was this morning or yesterday evening, Target for the first time in over 24 years fell off of Forbes' favorable business list.
Yep.
That says a lot.
Because of the people.
That says a lot. People like myself and us who do not patronage them anymore. I had not been in a Target store in over a year. I had not bought anything from Target in over a year. I'm someone that grew up when I was in college back in 1994, 95, when I first started college, was introduced to Target. And I was a faithful patron of Target up until last year. I mean, there's so many people like us You go into Target for one thing, you come out with a whole basket full of shit that you don't need. I don't do that anymore. They've lost so much money. They've lost favor with the
Yes,
people. And
true.
this is what we have to do with
Vote
all
with
these
your
companies
money.
moving forward.
Vote with your money.
Vote with your money. This is another thing too. In addition to all of that, these stores, these businesses, these platforms, stop. And I'm saying this from a creator standpoint, and like all of us are creators. There are a lot of people that are creators out there, and for so many creators, their hope is to use smaller platforms as a springboard to a national mainstream platform. To hell with them. Stop saying, and what I want to stop seeing people say, and I know people don't mean any harm, but I know people will always tell me during the show, you should be on CNN. And I know you mean that as a compliment, but and you don't mean any harm by it. But to hell with CNN. This is the reason they continue to be so important, because we keep bigging them up in Carnival and Junkanoo like they're a big deal. Stop doing that.
Yeah. And you
Stop
have
doing that.
amazing journalists that are just doing their thing every day. They're not famous. They're just doing their reporting. You see them on Instagram, you see them on YouTube, and they're just trying to get the story out to people. No huge following, but they're still doing it.
Exactly. You use Substack. Get an email list of these people so you
Use
have
your
something that
tools.
you actually own. Use things like Mighty Networks in schools so that you can actually gather your own community and not have to go through a third party. That doesn't mean don't use these platforms, but don't let them be your end all and be all, because if they close, then your audience is gone. So I need us to stop giving so much credence and putting these platforms on a higher platform as if nothing else matters. There's this one anime. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on YouTube and it's on Instagram, called Grinlock. So it's a Black anime, and it can be a little gruesome, but the point is that he's fighting for justice in all these communities. So he goes through like the predominantly Black communities. He talks about in Baltimore, such and such, such and such. So Grinlock got to be this way because he was like basically beaten, and now he's kind of like this character, this manga character that is an avenger for Black communities. So
I like it.
It's amazing. It's so well done. And people keep saying, tagging at Netflix, stop doing that. And he'll say, well, you're watching here. And that's the point.
That's right.
About it, and you're watching here. Bring more people to where I am instead of involving all of them. This is no disrespect to all of these places, but we're in this situation now because they know we care that much about them.
Yeah. And we're giving them too much power. Wow.
Way too much.
Final words, y'all. Final words. We'll start with Gwendolyn. Oh no, you
want to go, Chris?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to bring back up what Chris talked about earlier.
Yes.
That mega bill that they're trying to, where they are pretty much trying to take every ounce of voting away from citizens. I would say if you have a little time to read that this weekend, go ahead and read it. There's a very good chance I'll be reaching out to my dear friend, Ms. Alice, who's had a great chat last Friday. We got to come back and do our part too. So look for the email, Ms. Alice.
Yes, because you guys did a good job last week, especially on Project 2025 and sharing. And yeah, so that was excellent. And again, for those that don't know, if you can, the Project 2025 is still online. You can go read it, and you will find that most of this stuff,
it's all there,
is on there. They told you. They told us what they were going to do. So we who read Project 2025 and talked about Project 2025, we are not surprised. Because they said they were going to go after journalists. They said they were going to go after people. There's chapters. Their chapters are divided. Journalists, journalism, reporters. So guys, we are not surprised. Okay, so make sure that you get out there and seek the truth. Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to say thank you to the panel today, Dr. Tachi, Gwendolyn,
Yes.
Elise. I know she had a bad connection, but she still participated in the chat. And then also to the people in the chat. We hope that we got to the majority of your comments to try to put them up on the screen. Also, continue to be aware, as we mentioned yesterday, there are little glitches here and there. Sometimes all of your posts do not show up, but we will always try to put them up on the screen. And if you notice that your post is not showing up, DM myself or Ron. We will we have our devices here, and we will try to get your information up on the screen. But we appreciate you. Thank you guys for the joining in. And we just have to keep this information in the forefront. It's so important. You know, today is our Focus Friday, where we typically highlight accounts that we find that uplift us. But this is really, really important. So, you know, I hope that, I know you probably came in for that, but I'm glad you stayed for this, because I think this is extremely important. This is what our democracy is about. We need to fight for it, because what do we have if we don't have that?
Yeah. And
Stay
Dr.
woke, people.
Tachi? Dr. Tachi?
Thank you
The
for
last
that,
words.
Chris.
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you, Gwendolyn. I sent these out the last minute, these invitations, and I was like, if they want to come on, let them come on, please. If they want to come on, and I was like, if anyone can talk about this subject, is our journalist, our in-house journalist, Ms. Dr. Tachi. So, yeah. So, last words for you, Dr. Tachi.
Thank you for having me on. I always value whenever you think I have something of value to say. So thank you that you think I have something to say. It's wonderful to be in such regard. Protect your peace, as I said, and continue to support independent journalism and independent media. That doesn't mean you have to have a show yourself. That means that you tune in and you watch. That means that you share. That means that you support in any way that you can, even if it's monetarily. Do that if you can support monetarily, but if not, support with your eyes and support with your shares.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not going through announcements today. I just want to just end on that note, because that was a good thought right there. Again, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. You want to continue this conversation as a community, you can, well, I guess I should share it then, because it is important. You can share this conversation, take this conversation onto our YouTube community, and we can talk there. So you want to take this off, like we're here on right here live, you can continue this conversation in our YouTube community. You can do photography, texting, all this stuff. But if you want to share and continue the conversation, you can do it in our community chat. Just go up to the community. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, it's not, I'm about to do the whole thing, right? Thank you to our Patreon members. Your support helps us create amazing content. And also, if you're here, make sure you hit the likes. Always hit the likes when you're here. And if this is your first time here or first time hearing this community, make sure you hit subscribe. We are here to serve. Okay. And I think that's it. We are. Have a great weekend, y'all. Do something wonderful. Hug yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I love you. I know that's hard for some folks to do, but I had to learn that in, can I say, therapy? Look in the mirror and say, I love you, and do that. And I think you'll feel much better about your day and about who you are. If you can do that daily, it will help. Okay, guys, thank you so much.
Love you guys.
I see the Jazzy says, great conversation. Stay safe, everyone, and stay woke, it says Gwendolyn Houston Jack. We're out of here.